This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we have an Admiral dryer that won't heat. Here's the igniter part number, and my suspicion is it's a faulty igniter. So we're going to just use our resistance tester to give us a resistance value on the brand new igniter, and then we'll compare that to the igniter that's in there just to confirm before we do the replacement. So we've got the front panel removed, and now we've got our resistance tester on the leads to the igniter, and we're getting no reading of resistance, and that means that the igniter is just broken or there's a crack in it, so the electrons can't actually flow through the igniter. The igniter in essence is like a wire, but that wire is broken, and that's why it's not heating up. So we've taken the belt off, we've removed the tumbler so we can get better access to the burner tube, which is where the igniter is kind of hiding in it. We're going to be removing, in this model it's a little bit harder to get to, so we're going to be removing the whole gas valve and burner assembly. It's not that hard to get out really. So we've made sure we have it unplugged, we made sure we turned off the gas, very important. We're going to be pulling this whole gas module out. We did that by loosening the gas connection underneath this brass piece, just turned it with a wrench, and then we had to remove one Phillips head screw, and then this whole thing just comes out. And that's just so that you can get to this one screw on the igniter, which will let it go. So it's actually pretty easy to pop in the new igniter once you get this thing out, but it's not easy to get out. Most other dryers, this is a much easier procedure. We just disconnected the power connector to the igniter, and we're going to use our resistance test to see once again how much resistance the old igniter had. But on the preliminary test it showed it had no resistance, which meant the igniter was broken. And we're getting the same result. Other things though can cause the igniter not to light up. We're going to put the new igniter on by just tightening up the screw, but there are high limit thermostats and high limit cutouts up near the top of the dryer that can prevent power from going to the igniter. But I checked those and they had continuity. So now I'm putting the burner and gas valve assembly back into the burner tube, and then I'll line up over to my left, near my left hand. To the left of my left hand you can see there's two metal pieces, and they line up into the blower housing ducting here, or I'm sorry, onto this frame piece here. So we're going to line those up, and we're going to put in one screw to hold it in. And at the bottom you can see that brass nut. That's where the gas comes in. So prior to tightening up the Phillips head screw, I'm going to go ahead and thread this nut back on so I have a little more control to get it started. Remember that it should thread on pretty easily. If it's not going on easily, it may be cross-threaded and you don't want to tighten it. So if you feel that, then just try it again until it goes on easily. And then once it's as tight as you can go by hand, we will tighten it a little bit with a wrench too. So now I have everything lined up. I'm going to add that Phillips head screw back in, and that's really what's holding this whole assembly into position. And now it's okay to take your wrench and give the nut here a little bit more of a turn. Just want to get it snug. You don't have to go crazy tight. There we go. So that's tight. That's in position. We'll hook up our power connector again. These are the connectors, the power for the gas valve, the primary and secondary gas valve. We're just going to slip those back on. We had to take those off to get the burner and gas valve assembly out. So I got those pushed back up tightly into position. Make sure they sit really snug. Then we'll go ahead and hook up the power connector to the igniter. And this is a little cross piece that you put in as a brace. You actually want to put this in a little later once you get the tumbler back in, because you need a little access point to be able to get the belt back over the idler wheel and the motor pulley. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tumbler back in, sit it back on its rear wheels. And over here in the back here, that's where those high limit switches live, which could be blown. That would also cut power to the igniter. It's usually due to the ducting is clogged. So now I'm going to reach in underneath with my right and left hand so I can reach back where the belt is. I'm going to put it over the idler wheel, and then I'll pull the idler wheel to the side to be able to loop the belt over the little wheel, which is the motor pulley. And then once I have it on, I'll just carefully turn the tumbler just to confirm that that belt is going to stay on. I don't want to fully reassemble it until I know that that belt is securely back into position. You'll probably notice as you turn it, the blower wheel will turn also, and that helps you know that you have everything lined up before the final reassembly. So I'll put that brace piece back in, because I needed that room before to get my hand in there to put the belt back on. Tighten that up. Got everything in position. Now I can go ahead and put the front panel back on. I'm just spinning it again to make sure that that belt stays on. So here's the front panel. I'm going to sit it down first, a little bit of an angle onto the clips at the bottom. Make sure those engage. And then I'm going to push it forward, and I'm going to lift up a little bit on the tumbler to get it to right up on the front bearing. Try to line up the little pins here on the side. And once I have everything lined up, I'll push that front panel fully onto the cabinet. And then I need to add a couple of screws to hold the front panel on. So I'll put in that Phillips head screw. Make sure you get that tight. Might have to move these panels around a little bit to get everything to line up before the screw will go in. Then we'll do the other side. And these igniters just break eventually. Typically it's around the 9th or 10th year. I'm going to put this little clip back onto the front panel, and this is just keeping the wire held away from the tumbler, so as the tumbler spins it won't make contact with the wire. And we're going to close the top panel, and it has 2 clips in the front, so you just push down and those should engage again. Here we go. Plug it back in, turn on the gas, and fire it up, and we got heat again. So that worked great. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and thanks so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. Thanks a lot.